Welcome back to the West Virginia Media Lab podcast. So, we've got something a little different for you today. You, our listeners, you guys are always sending us such interesting stuff. And, well, this time it's a blog post that really caught our eye.
Yeah, it's from the West Virginia Media Lab blog, actually.
Right, from our own blog. It's called The 7 Most Bizarre Festivals You've Never Heard of in West Virginia. And, well, let's just say these are not your typical craft fairs and pie eating contests.
Not exactly. We're talking about events that are really, let's say, uniquely West Virginian.
Exactly. So we're gonna take you on a little tour, a journey, if you will, into the wonderfully weird world of these festivals, trying to figure out what makes them tick and what they say about the Mountain State.
Yeah, because these festivals, they're not just, odd for the sake of being odd. They actually offer a glimpse into some pretty deep-rooted traditions, the humor, the resourcefulness of the people here.
Absolutely. And, you found some really great sources, so we're going to be pulling from those as we go.
Definitely. We want to give you the full picture, the origins of these festivals, the highlights, what makes them so strange and wonderful.
All right, so let's kick things off with a festival that's, well, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. The Roadkill Cook-Off.
Oh, yeah, that one.
It's in Marlinton, West Virginia, part of their bigger autumn harvest festival. But honestly, the name alone, it kind of says it all, doesn't it?
It does grab your attention, that's for sure. But, before anyone gets the wrong idea, let's clear something up. They're not actually cooking roadkill.
Right. No actual flattened critters going into the pots.
Exactly. It's all about wild game, legally and ethically sourced. We're talking venison, squirrel, bear, rabbit, even groundhog. It's more like a celebration of Appalachian resourcefulness using what the land provides.
So think less burgers and hot dogs and more, I don't know, Bambi burgers and vulture wings.
Pretty much. And these aren't just, thrown together dishes either. We're talking professional chefs, home cooks, all bringing their A game to this competition.
Speaking of A game, what kind of dishes have they actually, come up with in the past? I'm genuinely curious.
Oh, you're going to love this. I was reading about some of the past creations, and we're talking like squirrel gravy over biscuits, bear sausage chili, groundhog stew.
Wait, hold on. Groundhog stew. That's a thing.
Oh, it's a thing. They also had possum pot pie, snapper turtle gumbo.
Okay. You've officially lost me at possum pot pie.
Yeah.
But props to them for creativity.
Right. And the judges, they don't just look at taste. They're judging on presentation, creativity, and how well they use the wild game. And there's a cash prize for the winner, so it's serious business.
So it's not just about shocking people with, deep-fried raccoon nuggets.
No. There's a real sense of tradition and skill involved.
Yep.
But yeah, the shock value, that's definitely part of the appeal.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the food, right? There's got to be more to this festival than just, unusual dishes.
Oh, absolutely. The Roadkill Cook-Off, it's very much rooted in Appalachian culture. They have a liars contest, which is basically people telling the most outrageous hunting and fishing stories they can come up with.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Kind of like a tall tale competition.
Exactly. And then there's live bluegrass music, arts and crafts from local artisans, even demonstrations on how to butcher wild game properly.
Wow. So it's really like a full-blown cultural experience.
Definitely. If you want a taste of Appalachia, and I mean that literally, the Roadkill Cook-Off is definitely an experience.
All right, so moving on from culinary adventures, let's talk about something a little more, shall we say, mythical. The West Virginia Bigfoot Festival.
Oh, now we're getting into some good stuff.
This one takes place in Sutton, West Virginia, and as you might guess, it's all about, well, Bigfoot.
Sutton's become a bit of a hot spot for Bigfoot believers, There have been a lot of reported sightings in the forests around there, so the town's really embraced this folklore.
Yeah, and the festival, it really leans into that mystery, doesn't it?
It does. It's a place for people who are fascinated by the unexplained, by cryptozoology, to come together and share their interest.
So what kind of things can you actually do at a Bigfoot festival? I mean, besides search for the big guy himself.
Well, they have expert speakers, like actual cryptozoologists, researchers, folklorists. They talk about sightings, evidence, theories, all that good stuff.
I bet those talks get pretty interesting.
Oh, they do. I read that in the past, they've had people like Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Lyle Blackburn, some pretty big names in the Bigfoot world.
Wow, so they're really pulling in the heavy hitters of the Bigfoot community.
Yeah, they're serious about Bigfoot in Sutton.
Yeah.
And there's more than just talks. They have footprint casting testing workshops where you can learn how to identify and preserve potential Bigfoot tracks.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And then there's the Bigfoot calling contest.
Wait, a what?
A Bigfoot calling contest. People basically try to do their best Bigfoot calls, howls, growls, the whole deal.
Oh my gosh, I have to see that.
And there's also something called the Squatch Walk, where people try to imitate Bigfoot's walk based on eyewitness descriptions.
So basically a bunch of people trying to lumber around like a Sasquatch.
Exactly. And of course, no Bigfoot festival would be complete without, Bigfoot merchandise.
Oh, I bet they have some interesting stuff.
Oh, yeah. They've got everything. Bigfoot-shaped soap, handmade carvings, footprint replicas, T-shirts, you name it.
I bet the T-shirts are pretty unique.
They are. And you can also go on guided hikes into areas where sightings have been reported.
Oh, wow. So you can actually go out and try to find Bigfoot yourself.
Well, sort of. And then there's live music, food trucks with, Bigfoot-themed food, family activities. It's a whole weekend-long event in June.
Okay, so far we've got gourmet roadkill and Bigfoot hunts. West Virginia, you're really setting the bar high here.
Just wait. We're just getting started.
All right, well, next up on our bizarre festival tour, we're heading to Point Pleasant, the home of the Mothman Festival. And this one has a particularly spooky backstory, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, the legend of the Mothman, this red-eyed, winged creature, it's been around for decades, and it's tied to this really tragic event, the collapse of the Silver Bridge back in 1967.
Right. People claim to have seen the Mothman in the days leading up to the collapse, and, well, the legend just took off from there.
It did, and the festival, it really embraces that whole mystery, the unexplained.
So what brings thousands of people to Point Pleasant every September for this Mothman Festival? I mean, what do they actually do there?
Well, they have speakers, paranormal experts, cryptid researchers. They talk about the Mothman sightings, other Appalachian legends, that sort of thing.
So like Mothman 101?
Something like that. And they have a Mothman costume contest.
Oh, that's got to be something to see.
It is. And cosplay, too. People really get into it.
I bet they do.
And they have Mothman hayrides. They take you out to the TNT area where the original sightings happened.
Spooky.
Yeah. And there are haunted walking tours of Point Pleasant, really playing up that eerie vibe.
And of course, you can't forget the Mothman Museum.
Right. It's like the mecca for Mothman enthusiasts.
Yeah.
They've got artifacts, eyewitness accounts, even props from the movie The Mothman Prophecies.
I still get chills thinking about that movie.
Oh, yeah, it's a classic. And right outside the museum, you've got the giant Mothman statue, 12 feet tall.
It's become quite a landmark, hasn't it?
It has. And of course, they've got Mothman-themed food, Mothman pancakes, Mothman cookies, Mothman everything.
So even if you're not like a diehard Mothman believer, it sounds like a pretty entertaining festival.
Oh, it is. There's something for everyone, even if you're just, curious about the legend.
All right, well, buckle up for this next one because we are going from spooky to straight up wacky. We're talking about the Hedgesville Outhouse races.
Oh, yeah, that one's a classic.
I mean, racing outhouses, it's so out there.
It is, but it's also so much fun.
So paint me a picture. What exactly are we talking about here?
Okay, so imagine this. Every September, Hedgesville, West Virginia, becomes a racetrack for homemade outhouses.
Hold on, homemade outhouses.
Yep, homemade outhouses. They put them on wheels, and teams of people actually race them.
And how exactly do they propel these things?
It's pure human power. You've got a pilot who sits inside the outhouse, and then you have pushers who run behind it and push it along.
So like human-powered chariots, but with toilets.
Exactly. And these things aren't just, plain outhouses either. Teams get really creative with the designs.
Oh, I bet they do.
Oh, yeah. Some of them are super elaborate, themes, decorations, the whole 9 yards.
So there's a design element to this as well.
There is. There's actually an award for the best designed outhouse. The Golden Throne Award.
Golden Throne. I love it.
And before the races, they have a parade of thrones so people can show off their creations.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then the races themselves, they're pretty chaotic. You've got outhouses bumping into each other, sometimes tipping over.
I bet there are some wipeouts.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's all in good fun, though.
I mean, it sounds like it's less about winning and more about just, having a good time.
Exactly. It's a great way to bring the community together, to have some laughs, and to celebrate, well, I guess you could say the more rustic side of life.
All right, so from outhouses, we're going to something a little more A little more traditional. We're talking about the Vandalia gathering.
Ah, yes, Vandalia. Now we're getting into some real Appalachian culture.
This one takes place in Charleston, right on the state capitol grounds, every Memorial Day weekend. And it's all about celebrating the music, the storytelling, the crafts, the heart of Appalachia.
It's a big one, too. People come from all over for it.
Yeah, it's really become a major event. But even though it's celebrating these traditional things, it still manages to have that West Virginia weirdness factor, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. I mean, where else are you going to find a liar's contest and a cakewalk all in one place?
Okay, so let's break those down. First, the Liars Contest. What exactly goes on there?
It's basically like a storytelling competition, but the stories have to be, completely made up, totally outlandish.
Oh, I love that. Like, the more unbelievable the story, the better.
Exactly. And the winner gets to be crowned the best liar in West Virginia.
Now, that's a title to be proud of.
Right.
And then what about the cakewalk? What is that all about?
So the cakewalk is kind of like, it's like musical chairs, but with a twist. People walk around in a circle to music. And when the music stops, they have to land on a number.
Okay, so far so good.
But the prize isn't just, bragging rights. The winner gets a homemade cake.
A cake.
A cake. And not just any cake. These are cakes made from, old family recipes passed down through generations.
Oh, wow. So it's like a culinary treasure hunt.
Kind of. It's a pretty big deal.
I can imagine. So besides the competitive lying and the cake-fueled musical chairs, what else is there to see and do at Vandalia?
Well, there's a ton of live music, of course. Bluegrass, old time, gospel, you name it. And there are jam sessions happening all over the place.
It's like one big Appalachian musical party.
It is. And there are fiddle and banjo contests for those who are, a little more serious about their music.
I bet those are pretty intense.
They are. And if you're into crafts, you can watch demonstrations of traditional Appalachian crafts like blacksmithing, quilting, woodworking. It's really a celebration of the whole culture.
Okay, so two very important questions. One, can I try the cake?
I mean, it's worth a shot. Right.
And two, can I enter the Liars Contest?
I think you'd have some stiff competition.
All right, fair enough. So moving on from Vandalia, we are heading to Shepherdstown for a festival that sounds absolutely magical, the West Virginia Fire and Ice Festival.
Ooh, that one's visually stunning.
I've seen pictures, and it's incredible. It takes place every January, and as the name suggests, it's all about, well, fire and ice.
They really embrace that contrast, like the beauty and power of both elements.
Yeah. So walk us through this. What exactly can you see and do at this festival?
Well, for starters, they have these incredible ice sculptures, like huge, intricate sculptures created by master ice carvers.
I bet those are impressive.
Oh, they are. And you can actually watch them being carved during the festival. They have live demonstrations.
Oh, that's cool.
And at night, they illuminate the sculptures, so it's just magical.
It sounds like something out of a fairy tale.
It does. And then to contrast with the ice, they have fire performances, fire breathers, fire spinners, fire jugglers. It's pretty intense.
Oh, I bet.
And they have bonfires, community fire pits where people can gather and warm up.
Sounds cozy.
It is. And there's also a fire and ice parade.
Okay, I'm picturing this, and it's a lot. What exactly does that involve?
So you've got fire dancers, illuminated ice floats, performers in glowing costumes. It's a whole spectacle.
That's amazing. It's like a Winter Wonderland meets like a Cirque du Soleil show.
Pretty much. And even the food vendors get into it. They have, spicy food, warm drinks.
Yeah.
And then they also have ice cream and other frozen treats.
So you could warm up or cool down depending on your mood.
Exactly. And of course they have, local art displays, a winter market with handmade crafts, all that good stuff.
So even though it's, the middle of winter, it sounds like this festival really brings a lot of energy to Shepherdstown.
It does. It's a great way to celebrate the season and to bring people together.
All right. Well, last but not least, we're wrapping up our tour with a festival that's dedicated to a very, shall we say, distinctive Appalachian delicacy. We're talking about the Feast of the Ramson.
Ah, yes, ramps. The unofficial or maybe official state food of West Virginia.
You either love them or you really, really don't.
That's the truth.
So for those who haven't had the pleasure, what exactly are ramps?
They're a type of wild leek, in the onion family, but they have this really, really strong flavor.
Strong's an understatement.
Yeah, they're pungent. Some people say they taste like a mix of garlic and onions, but way more intense.
And the town of Richwood, West Virginia, They celebrate these potent little plants every year with the Feast of the Ramson.
They do. It's been going on since 1938, so it's a pretty long-standing tradition.
So what can you expect at this ramptastic event?
Well, the main event is, of course, the Ramp Feast. They have all-you-can-eat ramps prepared in all sorts of ways.
Fried ramps, pickled ramps, everything.
Pretty much, and they usually serve it with, ham, fried potatoes, cornbread, all the traditional Appalachian sides.
So it's a full-on ramp extravaganza.
Oh, yeah. The smell of ramps, it just permeates the whole town.
I bet it does.
And they have live music, bluegrass, of course, and dancing, storytelling, and get this, they have ramp eating contests.
Oh, wow. Now that's dedication. I'm not sure I could handle that.
It's not for everyone. But hey, if you're a ramp enthusiast, this is the place to be.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our tour of West Virginia's most unique, most bizarre festivals.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has. From gourmet roadkill to outhouse races to ramp eating contests, West Virginia, you definitely know how to throw a party.
And these festivals, they're more than just, weird events. They really reflect the spirit of the people here, their creativity, their humor, their deep connection to their heritage.
Absolutely. So for those of you listening, we want to hear from you. Which of these festivals caught your attention? Which one would you be most likely to actually attend?
Yeah, let us know. And think about this. These festivals, they might seem strange at first, but they actually tell us a lot about, about community, about tradition, about what makes a place unique.
That's a great point. And who knows, maybe there's a bizarre festival happening right in your own backyard that you've never even heard of.
That's the beauty of it, right? There's always something new to discover.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for this exploration of West Virginia's wonderfully weird festivals.
And thanks again to you, our listeners, for sending us that blog post. It was a great find.
We'll catch you next time, right here on the West Virginia Media Lab podcast.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. The West Virginia Media Lab is all about celebrating our state and its people, businesses, stories, news, and folklore. If you love West Virginia like we do, be sure to comment below, then subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay connected. Until next time, stay wild, wonderful, West Virginia.